Oh, hey, Pa! This is the place to do it. Hey, did you know that 1/3 of California is covered in forest land and some of the most diverse trees in the world? Hey, travel reporter John Bartell here. You know, whether you're walking through the pine forest of the High Sierra or taking advantage of the shade under some desert palm, trees are a welcome sight on any road trip. In fact, many of my road trips involve destinations to trees. Tag along with me as we check out some of California's most amazing forests. We're going to start things off in the Humboldt County Redwoods, where you can walk high up in the canopies at Eureka's Redwood Skywalk. Towering over the town of Eureka, California, is a thick forest of large second-growth redwoods. But if you travel to the edge of the forest, there's a trail that gives you a whole new visual perspective. Are you sure this thing's safe here?
Absolutely safe. We actually do inspections every morning, every evening.
This is the brand new Redwood Skywalk at the Sequoia Park Zoo, one of the only tree trails in the world that are wheelchair accessible. We're quite a ways up here. How high does this thing go?
At the highest point on the Redwood Skywalk, we are 100 feet off the forest floor.
Kate Baldwin is one of the zoo activity coordinators. Prior to the Skywalk, she would have given tours of animals and plants that live on the ground.
But up here in the very tallest parts of the trees, you're going to see mostly birds.
Birds. And you might actually feel like a bird while you're traveling from tree to tree on the quarter mile of bridges and platforms. Dead or alive, Kate says all trees in the Redwood Forest are part of a complex network.
The Wood Wide Web. The Wood Wide Web, which is how trees interact with each other.
Pictures and video really can't give you a good perspective of the Redwood Forest. That's why you really have to experience it yourself. And why not do it 100 feet up in the air? Well, these next trees are living works of art, shaped over decades into stunning sculptures. They were nearly lost to neglect until they found a new home at Gilroy Gardens, a theme park in Santa Clara County, where they've been preserved and put on display. Among the 10,000 trees that cover Gilroy Gardens theme park, there's 19 very special trees.
The story is that he moved the trees at least 5 times each.
These trees look nothing like any other tree in Santa Clara County.
We don't really know how he did any of it. He didn't write it down.
In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything like them in the world.
So I don't know why. He just wanted to make nature do this.
These are the circus trees, the life work of a very talented arborist.
So a gentleman by the name of Axel Erlandsson made these.
Axel Erlandsson, a Swedish immigrant and master of a tree-growing technique called grafting. Gilroy Gardens general manager Barb Granter explains how it works.
When you tie them together and wrap the joins of each of the tree, they grow into each other and then share those nutrients.
In 1946, Axel created a tourist attraction called the Tree Circus in the Scotts Valley area. Trees of all shapes and sizes amazed visitors, and it even caught the attention of Life magazine and Ripley's Believe It or Not.
People would ask him, how do you get the tree to do that? And he would literally say, oh, well, I talked to them. So.
If only we knew the conversations they had.
Exactly.
In reality, Axel experimented a lot with his trees. He made drawings, created special frames, and built wire braces to shape the trees. So not all of the experiments work, right?
Not as well. This is the spiral staircase, and there's not a lot of stairs.
Axel died in 1964. Various people tried but failed to make the tree circus a successful business, and for several years, the circus trees were left neglected, and some even died.
The locals would jump the fence to water the trees to keep them alive, and Michael heard about it, found them, and brought them here when he was building the park that originally was called Bonfante Gardens and is now Gilroy Gardens.
Businessman Michael Bonfante went to rescue the trees, which had to be dug up and trucked from the Scotts Valley to Gilroy, California.
I don't remember the tonnage, but unbelievably heavy.
Today, the trees are under tender, loving care of a landscaper named Jose.
It's not like a hard job that requires half of the time. It requires 100% of your time.
Some of the trees, like the four-legged giant, are nearly 100 years old. sun damage, and other tree ailments require special attention.
Do you ever talk to the trees?
I do, and I hope they listen to me.
An ancient forest home to trees older than the Egyptian pyramids survive in one of California's most harsh and unforgiving environments. The bristlecone pine trees of California only grow up in the thin air of the White Mountains in Inyo County. The oldest living trees in the world don't grow in a rainforest or along a misty coast. They also don't tower over the landscape or branch out in a dense jungle. The oldest living trees actually grow on top of an almost barren mountain in some of the harshest conditions California has to offer.
This is a pretty horrible soil up here.
This is that awful dolomite, alkaline, limestone, and it is not good for growing most things.
Within the Inyo National Forest's White Mountain Range sits a small forest of almost dead, gnarled-looking trees called bristlecone pine.
How old can these trees get?
Well, the oldest known living confirmed tree is the Methuselah at 4,855 years.
Mary Matlick is an interpreter with the ancient bristlecone pine forest, and the Methuselah tree she's talking about, the world's oldest recorded tree, is hidden to protect it from vandals. However, many of the trees in this forest are just as old and date back before the construction of the Egyptian pyramids.
You gotta have a microscope to kind of really count
Yes.
these rings.
That is their survival, is that slow growth.
That very slow growth is due to the harsh climate and poor soil. Very few plants or animals can live up here, and that's the way the bristlecone pine like it.
It mainly keeps out the competition because they have to grow slowly, they need their time, they need their space.
Professor Edmund Schulman was the first to count the rings on the bristlecone pine and discovered the world's oldest tree in 1957.
It's a non-clonal tree, so it grows from a seed.
To be clear, there are older tree species in the world, like the 9,500-year-old spruce tree in Sweden, but that tree is a clone, meaning the original tree fell over and grew a genetic duplicate from the roots. Bristlecone pines can't regrow from the genes in their roots.
They don't really die of old age, they die because something happens to them, and for most of them that's root exposure.
So actually, this is a real tree.
The seemingly immortal life of the bristlecone pine attracts people from all over the world.
Bristlecone pines grow only in 6 states in the United States and nowhere else in the world.
Arvydas Buinauskas is an art collector and traveler from Lithuania, and for the past 20 years, he's been admiring and trying to capture the beauty of the bristlecone pines.
I love it, and it's difficult to describe it, but I feel like in heaven, it's like my passion.
Even if the bristlecone pines were to be killed by an outside force, its twisted, wind-beaten wood wouldn't decay or fall apart for hundreds of years. The harsh, dry climate of the White Mountains preserved the tree's wood for visitors to see for hundreds of years.
You become like a part, expand and become a part of universe, much bigger than you are actually.
No, they're not crop circles created by UFOs. They're actually a scientific experiment growing in El Dorado County's Blodgett Forest. From the ground, they look like any other tree growth, but from the sky, they look like a forest bullseye. Deep within the El Dorado National Forest, there's a smaller forest. From the sky, it looks like crop circles, or maybe a strange forest vortex. On the ground, it gets stranger. Each tree is marked with an identifying metal dog tag.
We're getting way back here.
This is the Blodgett Forest, home to the circular-shaped Nelder plots.
We getting close or what?
The Blodgett Forest is not a secret research facility. In fact, it's open to the public. But to find the circular Nelder plot, it's best to have a guide.
We made it.
A guide like Forest Manager Ariel Roughton, who can explain what the Nelder plot is.
Looks like just a bunch of trees.
Because it is just a bunch of trees.
Yes, this is just a bunch of trees, but it's also part of a decades-old experiment put on by UC Berkeley forest researchers.
If we were to look at it from above, you could see that it looks kind of like a wagon wheel.
The Blodgett Forest has many wagon wheel-shaped nelder plots in it. Not because it's pretty, but because the spokes of the wheels are easy to study.
They're a really unique way to plant trees so that we can look at the impacts of density or spacing on tree growth.
This particular nelder plot is full of giant sequoias. Each giant sequoia was planted on the same day back in 1983, but as you can see, not all are giant.
The tighter they're spaced together, the closer they're spaced, the smaller they tend to be because they're competing for more resources.
Data collected from plots like these will help loggers or foresters properly replant baby trees without killing them or stunting their growth.
But this is a way to demonstrate, well, if you put them too close together, that might actually not result in the healthiest tree and the healthiest forest.
The nelder plot is one of many experiments going on in the Blodgett Forest. Prescribed burning, soil science, wildlife ecology is just a few of the others.
One of, if not the most productive research forests in the western U.S. in terms of the number of publications.
An interpretive trail is open year-round to the public for everyone to witness the research. But just be prepared for a long walk.
Hey, you're watching Bartell's Backroads. I'm John Bartell, and we're on a tree-hugging journey to check out some of California's greatest forests. Next stop, we're heading to Sequoia National Park in Tulare County for a neck-bending experience to see some of the world's largest trees. Drive east of Visalia into the mountains of Tulare County, and everything starts to get really big. For example, this is Mount Whitney, the tallest peak in California. And this is Morrow Rock, a land-consuming granite dome. And this is the Giant Forest, home to 5 of the world's largest trees. To give you guys a little perspective, these tree trunks get up to about 40 feet wide, and the tree gets about 300 feet tall. That's big, if you can't tell. This is Sequoia in Kings Canyon National Park. It's so big and so rugged that you can't even drive most of it. 95% of the park is designated wilderness, and giant trees dominate the landscape. The trees here are so big that sometimes it's easier to drive through them than around them.
We're looking at thousands of years old when we look at these trees right here.
These are sequoia trees, not to be confused with the California redwood.
So behind us we have the sequoias. Sequoias grow in the Sierra Nevada mountains, so we're far from the coast. Redwoods grow on the coast.
Rebecca Jones is a naturalist with Sequoia Parks Conservancy, and it's her job to point out the small and hidden wonders in this giant park.
So there's a sequoia seed.
Whoa, that's it. That's gonna... Look what you could grow up in. You could be this. When you get older, you
do
could be
it.
this.
Sequoia National Park is full of hidden gems, literally.
Do you want to open the gate?
What? Look at that!
Yeah.
Below the giant sequoias and the towering mountains is something else that's really big.
Most of the mountains are granite, but what we're standing inside of right now is a giant boulder of marble. Marble.
This is Crystal Cave, a 1.4 million year old cave that's getting bigger.
What I have down here is the river that's actually carving out Crystal Cave. So you can see that trench that it's made and that marble rock that's polished underneath it. And that's carving out our cave about an inch every 500 years.
Caves are pretty common in the park. There's some 270 different caves, but Crystal Cave is distinctively unique because of a very sparkly mineral.
And they form as the water that drips through the ceiling. It collects a mineral called calcite, and then as it cascades over the surface, it's going to put that calcite on a layer.
With crystals just coating the cave floor, you think that there'd be a lot of crystal theft, but you'd be wrong.
Calcite is the primary component of like cement.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a pretty common mineral.
Crystal Cave is 3.4 miles long, and it's filled with fragile stalactites and stalagmites. The minerals that make up the cave features are not rare, but that's a good thing for both the cave and the giant sequoias above.
Not all these areas were protected, and if we had found something that had a lot of gold or silver in it, it would have been much harder to protect this place and make it a national park.
Everything in Sequoia National Park is big, and as long as humans continue to make small impacts, this place will only get bigger. California redwoods are so big you can actually drive a car through them. The chandelier tree is one of a few drive-through trees, and it's a one-of-a-kind driving experience when visiting the redwood forests in Mendocino County. Among the redwoods in Humboldt County's Avenue of the Giants, there's a turnoff off Highway 101 near Leggett. That turnoff will lead you to a privately owned and protected grove of trees, and at the center of it all is this, a redwood so big you can drive a car through it.
You're definitely gonna want to pull your mirrors in before going through.
Welcome to Underwood Park, home of the chandelier tree, one of just 3 living redwood trees that you can drive a car through.
That is a tight squeeze. Ah!
You may be asking yourself, how did this giant hole end up in this giant tree? Lucky for us, Pam Linder knows the answer.
The story I was told was a lot of bottles of beer and a few jugs of moonshine, and they got the job done.
I guess labor laws are a little different at Underwood Park. Anyways, Pam says that the drive-through tree is owned by the Underwood family, who bought the land back in 1922 as a tourist attraction.
In the 30s, they charged a quarter for cars to go through.
They call it the chandelier tree because someone thought it looked like an upside-down chandelier. From the ground to its top, the tree is 315 feet tall, its trunk is 21 feet in diameter, and it's estimated to be 2,400 years old. And, yep, it sees a lot of traffic.
500 plus on our busiest times.
If you don't want to get stuck in tree traffic, pull over and explore the 220-acre park and the ever-growing collection of chainsaw art. Just watch out for Sasquatch. Well, if you like the chandelier tree, you're going to like the tour-through tree in Klamath. It, too, has a tunnel carved out of a massive redwood tree. It's a must-stop attraction when you're on the road in Northern California. This is one toll road you'll actually enjoy paying for, but don't expect to get into the express lane.
When there's only one tree with one hole that one car can pass at one time and you're closed in the wintertime.
Judy Del Ponte is the toll taker at the tour-through tree, located in the rainforest of Del Norte County, California.
They've been in my husband's family since 1895. They were Swiss immigrants.
The tree's been here for hundreds of years, but the hole was cut in 1976 by Judy's late husband, Harold Del Ponte.
Lightning struck it when it was young. It knocked the top of the tree out, split it open.
Harold's nephew, an engineer and a logger, used a 7-foot-long chainsaw to bore a 9.5-foot-tall tunnel through the redwood, and Judy's been taking tolls ever since. The tour-through tree is just off Highway 101, and after your picture, head over to the Trees of Mystery and say hello to Paul Bunyan. Sex and romance. Now that I've got your attention, let's head to the deserts of Riverside County, where a sexy movie helps sell fruit at Shields Date Farm. No need to shield your children's eyes. This movie is about sex and pollination of palm trees.
The Shields Date Garden is the only place in the world where you can see and hear the romance and sex life of the date.
If anyone truly understands the term sex sells, it's date farmer Floyd Shields.
Is this rated R? Do I need parental consent to come in here?
Family friendly.
During the 1950s, dates were all the rage, and the Coachella Valley was littered with date palm orchards. So, in an attempt to stand out, creative director Jessica Deneau says Mr. Shields made a provocatively named movie.
It made them wonder, what's going on over there? What's happening?
Including sex and romance in a movie title may have been racy back in the 1950s, but in all reality, the film was just a slideshow of how date trees were pollinated. Mr. Shields has since passed on, but his film still plays every day at the Shields Theater on Highway 111 in Indio. Date palms are some of the oldest cultivated fruits on record, and it's also some of the most expensive to produce. That's because it takes 15 years for a tree to mature. Then, to get a large crop of dates, the palm buds have to be pollinated by hand.
It has always required the assistance of man.
You have to take the skin off, or you can just put it in your mouth?
Put the whole thing in your mouth. There is a pit in the center of it.
If I had to describe the flavor of a date, it would taste an awful lot like chocolate malt. And that's probably why it goes so well in Shield's famous date shake.
Hey, John Bartell here, and you're watching Bartell's Backroads. We're checking out some of the most amazing trees across California. If you had a treehouse growing up as a kid, you're gonna like this next roadside attraction. Just off Highway 99 is Bravo Farms in Traver, California. And they've got a 7-story treehouse. You gotta check it out.
Located off Highway 99 in Tulare County, you'll find the little farming town of Traver. Fruit trees dominate the landscape, but the best view in town is located at Bravo Farms inside their 7-story treehouse.
Here we go.
If you're lucky, co-owner Halim Azar will give you a tour of the treehouse. Just a fair warning though, watch your head.
No.
Not exactly made for adults, is
No,
it?
not that. No.
Once at the top, you can get a good look at the other attractions at Bravo Farms.
Oh!
Like this one, try out your trigger finger at the interactive shooting range.
How good are you?
I'm probably gonna need the unlimited.
Just to let you know, no skunks were harmed in the making of this video.
Very friendly.
If guns aren't your thing, head over to the petting zoo and say hello to Larry the llama. Or you could pan for gold at the mining company. And don't forget to check out the toy dump truck collection.
There's kind of just a mishmash of things, a lot of different kind of activities.
Yes.
Bravo Farms is also known for their cheese factory and locally sourced produce. There's a whole lot going on at this roadside attraction, but there's one thing for sure. Bravo Farm prides itself on introducing travelers to the surrounding agriculture.
We are like a mini Nutsberry farm.
Along Highway 101 in Del Norte County, giant redwoods hide more than just towering trunks. From a talking Paul Bunyan to sky-high rope bridges, the Trees of Mystery is a forest full of surprises. Along Highway 101, a giant stands tall in a mysterious section of Del Norte County's redwood forest. And no, I'm not talking about the trees. This giant is a legend in this area. And if you visit him between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., the giant might just talk to you.
Oh, hey, Paul!
Hey, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well.
The friendly giant is Paul Bunyan, and he lives in the Trees of Mystery with his faithful sidekick, Babe the Blue Ox.
Yeah, tell me again, why is Babe blue?
Paul found him up in the mountains during a snowstorm, and he had been frozen solid and turned blue.
A giant logger and a blue ox is just the beginning of the mysteriousness at the Trees of Mystery. Walk inside the gates and you'll find a lineup of odd characters.
These are various people that were in the logging camp. Jack the Back, Red Thumb Robbie, who planted so many redwood trees his thumb turned red.
Tall statues and wood carvings are sort of the sideshow here. If you want to see the real mysteries of this place, just follow tour guide and manager Jennifer Gunther.
This is a massive tree in the middle of a bunch of smaller trees here.
Yes, I think that the loggers were probably just intimidated.
The giant and odd-looking trees inside this nature-themed attraction has been luring tourists to the area since 1946.
My grandfather was in the war. When he got back, he didn't want to live in San Francisco anymore. He wanted to get out in nature.
After purchasing the property, which was an old logging site in Klamath, California, Jennifer's grandparents, Ray and Marley Thompson, discovered a strange growing pattern in many of the remaining trees.
So these roots have grown out, and as you can see, it looks like 2 elephants if you use your imagination.
What started out as a walking tour through the property soon turned into a redwood-themed amusement park.
Where does this take us here? This is
to Ted's Ridge.
Instead of looking up at the trees, the Sky Trail offers visitors a unique look down.
Hills up here are very different. They're wider and flatter, and that is so they can catch the water from the fog and the rain.
Once you're at the top of the Sky Trail, you get a nice look at the misty redwood forest. On a clear day, you can see the ocean and the park's oldest redwood, the Brotherhood tree.
They think maybe even 3,000 years old, honestly. They've climbed it. They found all kinds of different animals. There's a bat cave in the middle. There's like salamanders and these little land crabs growing up in the top canopy.
Land crabs?
It really moved there, doesn't it?
The newest attraction in the park is the Canopy Trail, which is essentially a series of high-flying rope bridges.
This had to have been a really experienced tree fort builder.
Tremendous is the company who did it, yes.
Treehouse construction company Tremendous also allowed us to use their drone video so that everyone who's afraid of heights could experience the Canopy Trail without walking it.
How far are we up right now?
About 100 feet from the trail down there.
Thank you for joining us here at Trees and Mysteries.
Well, I don't want to ruin all the mysteries of this place, so if you're still curious, you can ask Paul Bunyan about them yourself. Well, for our last stop, we head to the rugged mountains in Tuolumne County, where it takes a high-clearance vehicle and good GPS coordinates to get to the 3,000-year-old Bennett juniper tree. Located off Highway 108 near the Donnell Lake Vista, the Bennett juniper tree is rooted down a spider web of Forest Service roads.
This is the biggest juniper tree in the United States.
First discovered by Basque sheep herders in the 1920s, the Bennett juniper tree was named after naturalist Clarence Bennett, the man who determined the juniper tree's age.
She is a 3,000, they estimate 3,000-year-old Western juniper.
3,000 years is old, but some botanists estimate it could be as old as 6,000 years. That would make it the oldest juniper tree on the planet, standing at 78 feet tall. And get this, it takes 11 adults holding hands just to circle the tree's trunk.
So it's almost double the size of an average juniper tree.
Ellie Rout is with the Mother Lode Land Trust, a nonprofit that's next in line to protect the ancient juniper. Before her, Ken Brunges with the Save the Redwoods League spent 20 years camped out on this 3-acre plot of private land just to make sure that visitors were respectful.
We're protecting it from getting loved to death.
The Bennett juniper tree has survived floods, fire, and drought. It's California's 5th oldest tree, and if humans respect the old girl, she may just make it another 3,000 to 6,000 years.
Well, thanks for watching Bartell's Backroads Trees of California edition. I hope it's inspired you to take a little road trip of your own. I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the Backroads.